Before I kick off with this unpleasant story, I'd just like to invite anyone from Westmead Public Hospital, or anybody for that matter, who thinks I'm mistaken in any part of my movies, all of the movies, if they think that, truly think that, and they could substantiate why, and if it proves to be the case, I will happily redact that part. But I'm quite sure that 100% sure that everything's it is what it is. So, but anyway, there's a polite offer there to even the Westmead Hospital stooges, they're trolls. They're welcome to comment here, and if they think they have evidence that that I'm mistaken, well, of course I would redact that, and no problem. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'll just continue on from the story, unpleasant story, from yesterday, Saturday, today, Sunday. Nice sunny day too. So yeah, before I talk about this recording of Friday, I mean, there's a lot of CCP in Australia, in our universities and everywhere now, and I no doubt in the hospitals too. And you know, that's common knowledge now. The places, they're all over the place. And but anyway, she Ling, her conduct was like that, and sounded like she thought she was back in China. But anyway, Dr. Ling, she sent these two young doctors, knowing full well that they didn't know what they were doing. One was the female doctor that was trying to schedule him. You know, thought he was a mental case, asking him all these questions and forms he had to do, and drawing shapes, and because Ling's diagnosis was the pain was caused, you know, all in his mind. This is the consultant in charge of everything in emergency, and that Dill she hangs around with. Apparently, he's supposed to be the registrar, I believe. Dr. Chris Cheeseman, real bullies, the both of them. It's like Cheeseman's the attack dog for Dr. Ling. You know, the tough guy there. Anyway, Dr. Ling sent these two bloody apprentice doctors, or whatever they were, and they're trying to put a canuler in this dying man's left arm, I believe it was, and you know, the man's sick. He's as crook as Rookwood. Sick. They knew he's dying with cancer pain. That's on their system, and he told them as such. Anyway, these two clowns, two of Ming's stooges, probably too scared to say anything because she'll pick on them. They come in there jabbing around his left arm, trying to put a cannula in. And the patient, they're so worried what's going on, and obviously anyone would. Normally, you know, nurses who know what they're doing do these sort of things, and they use a thin needle, you know. These blokes it apparently felt like it was they're using a nail to put in his veins. And he said normally these veins are easy to find. The nurses always say that. And even that nurse there before, Michelle, who left him for dead on the other occasion, she put the cannula in as smooth as silk. But anyway, she forgot about the hydration. That's, that's where he dehydrated and felt crook. But yeah, going back to these two doctors, they didn't know what they were doing. They just practicing on this dying man's arm. And Dr. Ling thought that was funny. It was inappropriate to practice on people like that. And she knows that. Everyone knows that. I've had people tell me that, people who know what they're talking about. And so they tried his other arm, the right arm. And they're jabbing and jabbing around that, and they finally got the nail in. Or should I say the cannula needle, but, you know, they didn't have a clue. And Ling, she knew that. But she'd been vindictive. That's what this man believes. And that's what it looked like. When you put it all into context and join the dots, Ling was out to get him. And that Cheeseman character, you know, the one, the English man with the English accent and muscles with a tight shirt on, fancies himself as a bit of a hard man, bit of a gutless man by the sound of it, picking on a dying old man, her and Ling, and they threw him out. Anyway, they bloodied his arm with this nail, like to get it in, felt like a nail, the cannula. Anyway, the patient got home the next day after being abused in there, maltreated, and the bandage on the where the cannula was all bloodied, and this is where Cheeseman, Dr. Cheeseman, with all due respect, but he ripped the cannula out of his arm, patient's arm, full bag of on the drip to go in, full bag, with with Dr. Ling there giving him the nod to do it, her arms folded like I don't know, like a pregnant woman in an aggressive body language. It's very aggressive, her and Cheeseman, Ling and Cheeseman, very aggressive body language. Ripped the cannula out, knowing he's crook, and they both of them, with the security guards marching along, threw him out of the hospital. Threw him out. He's terrified to go back. Now the man's been blacklisted. He's been flagged. Palliative care doctor, Dr. Claire Zachalski, she's told him not to come back to the hospital. She's told him to go to some private company to manage me, a company called Silver Chain Services. Goodness me. And when she told him that, Dr. Zachalski, he said, no, I couldn't afford anything like that. That'd cost an arm and a leg. Country, or sometimes I wonder, but anyway, the man's got nowhere to go. He's at home, struggling. The Premier, the Berejiklian, the Health Minister Hazard, just basically told him to get lost, covering up for the hospital. For the Chief Executive, Graeham Loy, and the General Manager, Rebecca Tyson, and the top heavy body corporate directors, chairman and whatever else is hanging on, milking the system, we're covering up for them. They've run the hospital down. At any rate, it is what it is. It is what it is. So after all this, he's in a bad way, in a terrible position. He paid tax, lots of tax to this New South Wales government, stamp duties and all this sort of rip-off. And they treat people who are paying their wages. That goose bloody Graeham Loy and that nasty piece of work there covering up Rebecca Tyson, the people are paying their wages. And they despise sick people, and their people have been paying for their wages. But at any rate, these sort of people gravitate into these jobs, and that's how it is. And they like to be flushed out, but anyway, I hope they're watching. But look, I'll go back to, I've got a recording here. What I just stated happened before this man was thrown out by these pair of bloody monkeys, Ling and Cheeseman. That happened before that, but I'll just play this recording. One of the nurses there, he's one of their stooges. Obviously, you can tell by the sound of him. He's too frightened, scared shitless himself that if he doesn't follow instructions, they're going to bully him, because that's what they do there. In the culture there, it's been on for 20 years. It's no big secret. It's in the public domain. But that'll be in another movie where it's pretty horrific what they've done. They're still doing it now today. And just disgusting, So, well, look, we'll get onto this. But this Will guy, I tell you what, I feel sorry for him. But he's a dill. He should stand up to these jerks. And all the other nurses there should stand up and they have a recording device in their pocket and get these mongrels and do something about it. Because a lot of the nurses there, I think, want to do their job. And there's a lot that don't either. They claim they're busy. I've seen that 100 times here when I've been a patient and my friends have. They're busy, but they're standing around talking. That's what happened with this patient when Michelle, the nurse, was there. She put the canuler in his arm for the drip and she forgot all about his hydration. It made the bloke crook. The guy, he said to, after about, I think, 12 hours, a long time without any hydration or food, he said to the Michelle, I'm feeling crook. I'm dehydrating. I've got the symptoms. I feel like that, nearly collapsing. And Michelle, she said, I'll go and ask the doctor. 2 hours later, she didn't even come back. The man was a mess. But that's all in another movie too, and I'll substantiate everything in there. And again, if anyone thinks please let me know. Anyway, I'll put on this, recording of Will there doing the dirty work for Mee Ling and Cheeseman. He's obviously terrified. He's trying to stand over this dying patient with a couple of months to live. The bloke's buggered. He's rat shit, and his Will trying to chuck him out in the waiting room. Yeah, well, listen. I'll just play you the recording anyway. It's better that the recording speaks for itself. That's why all the management there and the doctors and the nurses, they've got an unhealthy paranoia of people recording their own voice. But anyway, tune in. It's quite interesting. Will, Will the Dill, I call him.
Listen, Gaz, don't leave. No, I'm not. Look, I'm recording myself. Look,
this is Gaz.
I want to stay here overnight.
He's another clown.
I'm recording myself. I've asked the hospital.
This Gaz, it was there when he was abused the last time with Michelle. Gaz is onto him, you know. Gaz is onto him, but no, that's not the one. This is the one here with Will the Dill. Real no, his parents must be proud of him. This Will. Same with Gaz. They're the frontline heroes. Same with Julia. She's one of the frontline heroes. And the one from India there, talking shit. But listen to this Will.
Listen, nurse, I told you I'm sick. Don't kick me out in the waiting room. Just had the palliative care doctors here. They're going to come back with some medication, prescriptions for endone. So, nurse, what's your name? Will
the Dill.
Don't kick me out, mate. You get the registrar here. Don't kick me out yet. I want to wait till I start to feel better, okay? I don't want... Yeah, I got help. That's as far as I can go. I'm not going to sit out there and collapse.
We'll watch him have a piss and said, you're fit.
No, I'm not going to fall out of a wheelchair. I'm here. I'm sick, mate. I've got cancer all over my body. Okay, I'm not well, mate, okay? I have patients outside. No, you get the registrar down.
You're tripping the poor man.
What's his name? Matthew Volvic down here. I'm not feeling well, mate. I understand that. I've got patients outside.
Matthew never even rang him back.
Too, mate. I've got to wait till I feel better. Yeah, they're going to come back with prescriptions. So
treat them both like a piece of shit.
You're jumping the gun. No, don't throw me out in the waiting room, mate. I'm already stressed out, sick now. Okay, you're exacerbating me problem.
Months to live.
Now go, look, if you're not going to look after me, bring someone here that's going to, okay? I've got multiple doctors telling me this as well. Yeah, well, you bring the
doctors are using him as their stooge. Okay? Multiple doctors.
I know you're acting
Ling and Cheeseman.
But I'm still
poor Will, he's buckling.
Prescriptions and advice from the palliative care.
He doesn't know what to do.
I'm sick, mate, okay?
There's no room. Look. Now he's guilt tripping the man, cancer man. Cancer's grown all over his body with stress. They know you don't stress cancer patients.
He want to do something. What's going on? That's fine, and I can give you my name. I'll write it down. No, I don't want.
And I know Dr. Ling and Cheeseman thought he's a mental case.
Okay, I'm not going.
Looks like they wanted to section him to Cumberland, the mental hospital.
I'm resting here. Out there, mate, I'm not resting. I'm sick. I feel sick. I'm in pain here, okay? I don't want to have to argue the toss about this all the time. They can call you guys back. No. I'm not, mate, I know I'm 66 and I'm a terminal patient and I've not got no value. I've got patients that were 102 out there. Yeah. Mate, sorry. What's your name, mate?
Here's the doctor's half decent.
George, I'm saying. So I know, like, this situation where we need to...
He's scared to upset Ling.
I can't handle it, mate. If something happens out to me out there, you're responsible, mate. I can't take it out there. I'm sick, I told you.
I hope Gladys and Brad are watching this. It's your fault, Gladys and Brad. The buck stops with you, pair of clowns. Yeah, I look at... I've ballsed up this recording here, but...
Look, you can ask me any questions.
No. Yeah, I ballsed it up. Sorry about that there. I'm not going to edit it. I couldn't be bothered, you know.
Multiple doctors. I'm not going till this has fixed me up and I'll feel better. So you just told me you're waiting and we have a room for
That's about the area anyway.
Out there, mate, I'm not resting. I'm sick. I feel sick. I'm in pain here, okay?
Too lazy to
do it. I don't want to have to argue the toss about this all the time. They can call you guys back. No. I'm not, mate, I know I'm 66 and I'm a terminal patient and I've not got no value. I've got patients that were 102 out there.
102 in the shade.
What's your name, mate?
And they treat patients like that. Well done, Gladys.
So I know, like, this situation where we need to take you out to the waiting room. I can't handle it, mate. If something happens out to me out there, you're responsible.
This doctor understands.
I can't take it out there. I'm sick, I told you. I'm sick. Why don't you just leave me here and let me fix me up? But, like, we are still taking care of you. We just need to put you in a space where we can bring other patients in. I know it's hard, but, like, this is... It's not hard, mate. I'm sick, all right? I'm here. You want me to lie on the floor? It's not Will's fault. I'm not blaming Will.
I think this guy's going to be a good doctor.
Bring the registrar here and let him talk to me now. All right. Know who your registrar is at the moment? Well, whoever.
Should have him as the consultant, not some import like Ling.
Where's the director? Bring him down here. I can escalate it right now for you, but in the meantime...
Escalate it, then they come, Ling and Cheeseman come and boot him out.
I always want to see a lot of patients here, mate. Nothing changes. I'm here now. I was out there waiting, and I had to wait. Now, I've got pain here, I'm sick. Why don't you just let things settle down before?
It's fair that you just wait here while you're waiting for
scripts. Nothing's
fair.
I'm
finished. While we have really sick people outside, because you just want to wait here for scripts.
Browbeating.
It's not just waiting for scripts. I've got pain here. You're supposed
Months
to give me some of this, aren't you?
I've got patients out there who can't
Cancer
breathe.
pain.
Supposed to give, what's that there?
Not a mental case.
That's for me blood
Just
pressure.
saline.
So why can't you just give me that and then I can get out of here?
We are going to give that to you, but we've got to keep an eye on you. So
I can't sit out in the waiting room like a shag on the rock, mate.
The doctor said got to keep an eye on him.
Sorry? Are you a doctor? Look, you don't treat people like that.
And then Cheeseman and Ling ripped the canuler out of his arm and throw him out. Full bag there in the drip.
I shouldn't have to.
They don't want to keep an eye on him.
Very sick. That's why.
This doctor knows what he's talking about. He should be the consultant, the registrar. Not those two clowns.
Someone say the hospital's at full capacity. Well, that's not my fault. I don't think it's anyone's fault here. I think we're just all trying to do our job.
No, it's Gladys and Brad's fault. And the hospital board.
He's not doing your job, mate.
And that stooge, Mr. Loy and Ms. Tyson. It's their fault. They cover up everything.
Okay, well then, I do. I'm telling you, you don't know how I feel.
Well done, Will.
I feel terrible, mate.
Do you want me to show you the patients out there?
He wants to show him the patients out there.
Will, you're trying to guilt trip me, mate.
Inappropriate.
That's
Bullying, I
conduct,
call it.
mate. That's unacceptable conduct. No, it's not. If you were lying here, mate, one day you'll be here with what I've got.
They're hypocrites, all of them.
And then you'll know what I'm talking about.
You wouldn't treat a dog like that.
I'm sick.
He talked to the boss, and then she come around with the big boy, Cheeseman. And they kick him out with an army of security guards behind him.
You're at full capacity, mate.
Don't come back, they said to him.
Next time, if I ever come here, I'll bring my own bed.
That's how he felt anyway. Terrified. Anyone would be.
No, but if ever I come here, I'm going to.
It sounds like that Cheeseman forgot to take his steroids.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Looks like he works out in the gym. Maybe he could be taking steroids. I don't know, but
it's all politics. Get him out.
not the full quid, that's for sure. Well, not the full pound.
I'm not blaming you guys or Will. But just people are sick. You can't just throw it out there.
This poor Will and the poor doctor. He's going to escalate it to Ling.
Doctor who? What's your name? Doctor.
He sounds like a good doctor, doesn't he?
Doctor who?
Mayan.
Yeah, I
Junior,
know, mate.
he's shit scared of that Ling and Cheeseman. I don't blame him.
If they were lying
They like
here,
to pick on people that are helpless, the pair of them.
It's unacceptable, mate. You know, this is not a third world country. You can go to bloody Calcutta
Well,
or
becoming
Delhi.
a third world country.
You wouldn't expect that there. Even the Philippines there, they get treatment. I got two bloody dogs. I take them to the veterinary hospital.
Philippines has got better medical hospitals than Australia now.
Thanks, doctor. Thank you.
Yes, he sounds a decent bloke, that guy. You got to give credit where credit's due, you know. And anyway, I'll just end that one. I'll end that one here. But you know, you get the drift what these clowns are doing. You know, they're just treating people, no respect for aged people. It's a pity the recent Royal Commission into Aged Care never went and had a look at the hospitals and checked them out. Westmead Hospital, they would have had fun there. The Aged Care Commission would have got thousands of submissions about Westmead Hospital. And I mean that literally too. And, you know, these people, they're not accountable to anybody, like the Lings and the Cheesemans. the Graeham Loys and the Rebecca Tysons and in their ivory towers, and frontliners, all of them heroes. Sounds like it's gone to some of their heads. The decent doctors and nurses, that make them vomit to see these people. How do they ever put up with it? I think a lot of them would just leave. I mean, it's just mind-boggling, But anyway, it's just part of the way the system is now. It's been so corrupt. Anyway, look, I hope you've enjoyed I hope you found this movie informative and interesting and informative, and and I hope you've educated you a bit, because it can happen to you, it can happen to anyone, your family, friends. But these people, they do this all the time. Maybe they're slowing down a bit, that they're being exposed. But yeah, look, I hope Gladys and Berejiklian and that Hazard Brad, owners of the Ruby Princess affair, they stuffed that up completely without goofing off and allowed that to happen. Same with the Chief Health Minister, that Kerry Chant. The three of them goofed up with that Ruby Princess. They're out bloody goofing off. And everyone knows anyway, that's history. That's a cover-up too. It's diabolical. They should have been terminated straight away. And these three bloody clowns, the Three Stooges, in charge of the COVID, how could you trust them? Three bullshit artists. All right, guys, anyway, all the best. Have a good week. And I hope you watch the next movie, and hope everything's good wherever yous are. Ciao.